Hello traders, John at Stockbookie.com. Today we're going to look at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, and the USO. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at Stockbookie.com. So let's jump right into the daily SPY. And we talked about these bullish patterns, staying above the MAs, light volume holding this up, watch for volume. And eventually when we got into here and it popped it back up, it was like, all right, you know what? This thing needs to start breaking out. If it doesn't, it's going to start breaking down. So we broke down last Friday. We had a great bounce off the gap fill, and if you go to the weekly, the 20 MA, so you had really good support down in here, and that's why we bounced. And then you had the Feds coming out, talking, giving a little bit of lip service to help the markets rally yesterday. We could not recapture the 50 MA, or we actually hit the 618 retrace, came right back down, and we're right back to the lows of the low on Friday. So good sell-off here. You have to respect this, but now we're just waiting on pattern. This choppy, sloppy patterns aren't really telling us anything other than you had a nice sell-off, pop-up, sell-off, and right now we're down at the lows. I think we did close below that. I'd have to measure it out, but so at this point we're looking for some sideways action. We're looking for this 20 MA to curl into price, and then I think this thing could send this one down. If you're bullish, you want to recapture the MAs. You want to fill this gap, get above this trend line, and then ultimately, I would say 220. If you get above 220, I think you could probably go to 225 or so, depending on how and when this thing is pushing up. Now, on the downside, if this thing continues to consolidate sideways and this thing comes 20 MA and the 50 MA curls down in the price, hard to say now. I got to see the pattern, but I'm thinking back to the 20 MA around 205, 206. Then you have a gap around 203, and then ultimately you have a gap right around 200, 199.60. So this thing really puts the sell on. I think we could get down there, but again, we'll reevaluate as days go by and the charts start to set up and give us a reason why to take a trade. Weekly chart, we still have support on the 20. We still have support at the gap fill. So until then, unless on the weekly close we close below the 20, then we're coming right back into the 382 retrace, which is 211.69. So you have good support and you have good resistance. So I'm at this point waiting for setup, waiting for pattern, and then we'll reevaluate this. But, and I'll get to this last, monthly chart, same thing, popped up, never closed above, now we're reversing. We need to see the monthly close on this. But this is what I'm looking at, guys, right now. On the 60-minute here, we have a nice down move with a bearish pattern setting up. We did consolidate for 6 hours today. If we keep consolidating and this moving average comes into price, I think that could send us on down. What I'm looking for tomorrow is a gap up above the, I don't know where this moving average will be, but I'm 214.15. That's what I'm looking for. I'm thinking they're going to have to gap it up over this and try to get a gap and go to get this thing going into the window and then possibly back up to the gap fill. But again, they're conditioning people. But if we get that play, we can have a nice little W pattern down here that could possibly bring us back to the highs. But we're going to see tomorrow, see if we can get above the 20 MA here first, and then we'll take it from there. You know what? Let me put in this too. Let me put in a lower Fibonacci. So yeah, 382 could not get above. So there's some big resistance going up. They're going to have to gap this thing up and get this thing going. So keep an eye on that. But if we continue sideways and this starts curling down, the 50 MA starts curling down, we could possibly have a sell-off tomorrow towards the end of the day. If not on Thursday, maybe Friday again, which would be just epic. So that's that, the monthly. Let's go into the IWM. IWM, great sell-off on this one. This one was leading the way down. We talked about this pattern. This was bullish, and it was just kind of a choppy, sloppy, floating pattern above the MAs until it couldn't hold it up. Volume came in, slammed it right into the 250 retrace, bounced it up, got it above the 50 yesterday, and bam, right back down to the lows, and we closed below the 50. I think we have a little more to go on this one, 119, 118 area. The 120.58. Yeah, the 120 is going to be a pretty decent area. That's what we bounced off today, the 120 even number. We're going to see how this thing sets up. If price curls down just like the SPY, or if the 20 MA curls down in the price, keeps this thing under the 50. If we set up sideways for the next week or so, this can continue down. And I'm thinking, let me tell you, you got a gap down here around 110. You got the 200 moving average and the 750 retrace right around 112.51. And if we get a great bear setup, I think we could definitely go to the 20 MA or 200 MA down there. Weekly chart, let's see if we can get some follow through this week. We need to close below this bar, and then I think we can start getting some more selling next week. Monthly chart, same thing. We got it. We got to the 123.43. They popped it up, and then it came right back in to the 250 retrace right at 120.27. Let's see if this thing can continue selling and get some follow through. Let's go with the Qs. You know, you still have to buy the dip mentality, so you know anything can happen. Like I said, the SPY's getting a little bit of a bid after hours. Nothing crazy, but up maybe 60 cents or so, 50 cents, no, about 50 cents. So not bad. But daily chart, Qs, same thing. We're chopping. I was saying if we don't get above the 118.78 area soon, it's going to take the path of least resistance, and boom, here we go. So we got below the 50 MA. We filled this little pivot. Did we go back? Anything else? Yep, right there. Right here's a little pivot as well, and some big resistance, which becomes support. That's the other reason why we bounced the other day. So we bounced up, and this was a nice engulfing candle. This always, you know, I was like, well, you know, let's see if we can recapture this, get the gap fill, and then we'll talk more upside. Look at that, right today. This was the strongest one in the group, only 0.89% up or down. So we'll watch for pattern now. If this continues sideways, it will be setting up to move lower. We'll watch for volume as well. See how the volume kicked up, and now we're dumping. This was a good, almost, let's save the market candle. Had good volume too. But now we had more volume today and a little more selling going on. So let's keep an eye on the Qs. The weekly chart, same thing. Let's look at the weekly close, see if we can close below this red candle. If we close below this red candle, we're definitely going down here to the 111 area, 111.48. And this, you got these tops here. Where's that at? 111.34. So we'll see. End of the week, this weekly chart will close, and we can tell what's going on here. Monthly, same thing, popped up. This one actually closed above the highs and this candle, but now we're slowly coming in. Commercial money is big short the Qs. So I'm sticking with my short position because if the big money's short, this one will eventually be coming in. Let's see, DIA. This one was probably the worst one of them all. I mean, they're all getting bad, but this one here, where we're curling down, we're close to a crossover here on the MAs. But if this one starts curling over and this keeps going sideways, maybe 4 or 5, maybe on Friday, maybe Monday, Tuesday, 20 MAs in the price, boom, we're going right to the 200 moving average around 175.57. We'll still have to keep an eye on it. If the bearish pattern fails, we could definitely pop up. If you're bullish, you need to get above the MAs, fill this gap, and then continue going up. If you're bearish, you want to see a close below this bar here. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, you have a gap. You have a gap fill right here around 178.80, and then we'll reevaluate. We'll see how if this pattern goes sideways for a week or so. I mean, we could possibly fill this gap and maybe this gap down here at 171. Be careful in these markets. Weekly chart, same thing. Holding on to the 50 MA. We got to see on Friday if it's going to close below the 20 MA or above the 20 MA. Yeah, I said 50, but no, this is the 20. My yellow is 20. My orange is 50. So right now we're slightly above it. Well, let's see, 50 MA. Or no, 20, 180.75. Yeah, we're 5 cents above it. So we barely closed it. So if we close below this red candle and the 20 MA, I think we're going downtown. Not downtown, but we're going to slowly stair step and possibly move lower. This one here was great too. We popped up, never confirmed. Boom, it's starting our. They already engulfed this. This is a monthly, so we got a couple weeks left. But man, if this closes below the 177.15 and the 20 MA, why do I keep saying the 50 MA? The 20 MA is the yellow moving average, simple moving average. Boom, we're going right here. Then possibly, let's see. I'll look at these closer. You got this trend line here. So there's good support down in here. Around 162, 163 in this area. We'll see if this curls up. But that is the DIA. Let's look at the IYT. This is the transports. Again, man, we recaptured that 8,000 level, stayed up there 2 days, and boom, right back down. That is the level right there. If it cannot get up here and confirm, but also we filled the gap. We filled the, that was already filled. But man, a little higher at the 146, but 145, we call that area. Start adding shorts right up in here. If it moves up a little higher at 150 or so, you add more, and then boom, look at that. That's why you got to start adding because you don't want to move. I mean, this went from 145 to 140 in 3 days. I mean, come on. This is getting ugly. Again, this is a lagging indicator. We've been talking about this, and here we are lagging again. cannot. I mean, this was almost down 2% today. But we had a nice outside bar red candle. They popped it up, only engulfed it halfway, right back into the trend line. And this sloping trend line up in there. Pulled it right back, gapped it down today, and boom, we're right back to the lows. We're below the 50 and the 20 moving average right now. So now we're going to wait for pattern. If this could go sideways, this 20 MA curls down in the price, then we're definitely going down to 136.93. Oh, double bottom, 136.73. I'm thinking fill the gap, and ultimately right around here about 127. The markets are going to really have to dump out. We have big support in here as well. So let it play out. Let's see what pattern this gives us, and then we'll see if we can retrace up in the short again. We're short the IYT. Weekly chart, great bullish pattern, starting to work out. This one started breaking out. We got to the top of the 145.85 area. Boom, turned around, reversed on that Friday, and now we have some follow through. If you're bearish, you want to get below these MAs and close below this big green candle here. We close below that, we're going downtown. We'll wait for pattern to see how low this thing could possibly go. Could possibly 125 and double bottom around 116. Like I said, we are short this, and we're going to stick to it. Monthly, if it does not get above the 20 MA here in the 750 retrace, then let's see if this thing will recapture that or stay below and start heading lower. This is a monthly close, so we'll have to wait until the end of the month. Let's go to the USO. Remember on, gosh, it was a couple weeks back, who was it, RBCS or RBC was saying, oh, oil's bullish, you better get on, da-da-da. Remember, it was right around in here. So oil was bullish, or even in here, oil was bullish, da-da-da-da-da. So it came in, inside bar, bearish pattern, fell apart, retraced up, came right back in. Now we're underneath the moving averages again. This is a bearish stance, guys. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4. This trend line here around 122 does not hold. It's going right back down to 10 bucks. Filling the gap, 976, and then ultimately 923, and then we'll reevaluate it from there. If you're bullish, you need to get above the MAs and these high pivots up in here, and then ultimately fill the gap. If you're bearish, you just want to get below this trend line, 618, and then we're going definitely down to the 976. Around 976, 10 bucks, you'll have some good support. But if the markets are dumping, we're going right down to 923 again. I am short the USO. Covered half here, popped up, added the half that I covered down here and here again, and then we're riding it down again. Just rinse and repeat, guys. I don't care. Half, 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 half. Eventually, we'll take the whole thing off. Hopefully, it'll be 10 bucks, maybe at 923. Weekly chart, same thing. Look at this. It retraces right back up into this huge resistance up in here. You have to short that. Now we're down. We close below this bar. Now we're an inside bar pattern. I'm thinking we go right down to here. This is 962, and this is the line connecting the lows from the very low at 767. So we'll go through there. If we blast through there, we're definitely going to 922 or so. Then, man, let me tell you, I think we could go back down to the $7.50, $8 level, and then possibly lower. We'll have to reevaluate as this thing goes, but man, just ugly. And we're below the moving averages on the weekly as well. And the monthly, we're below the moving averages too. And we have a big downward move sideways. This is a great bearish pattern. If this pattern plays out, then we have a micro inside bar bearish pattern. This thing breaks down. I'm going to show everybody again. 646. That's where oil's going. You know, I had my level 911. Gosh, where is it? No, I don't have it on here anymore. But I did. I had a level right around 811. And when it went to 767, I mean 811 and 811, I was calling that number when, you know, when we were up in here, because I wanted to go long the oil and I wanted to wait. Let's wait for 10 bucks. Let's wait for 9 bucks. Let's wait for 8 bucks. And if he would have done that, boom, he would have caught a huge move, and then now we're catching the move down. That's how we play it here. So again, thank you for watching my videos. If you have any questions or comments, please send it to me at stockbookie@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching. God bless. See you on the charts.